Have you ever noticed how, when someone distances themselves, we start to miss them even more? It seems like a paradox, but absence often makes presence feel more valuable. This phenomenon is not just emotional, it's grounded in psychological principles that shape the way we connect with others. In today's video, we'll explore 7 psychological reasons why people miss you when you create space. Our goal here is not to teach manipulative tricks, but to help you understand these dynamics so that you can build healthier, more mature and balanced relationships. Whether it's friendships, romantic connections, or even professional relationships, understanding how distance affects others can be a powerful tool for creating genuine and lasting bonds. Now take a moment to reflect. Has it ever happened to you that someone began to value your presence more after some distance? If so, you've likely experienced the effects of these psychological reasons firsthand, even without knowing exactly why. This video will help you understand these mechanisms clearly and teach you how to apply them ethically and consciously in your life. Stay with me until the end, because in addition to understanding the impact of space on relationships, you'll learn practical tips to use these insights to your advantage. Get ready for an approach that combines psychology with everyday situations, making everything easier to understand and apply. And before we dive into the first reason, a quick reminder. Don't forget to like this video, share it with someone who needs to hear this message, and subscribe to the channel for more content that transforms your relationships and worldview. Let's take this journey together. Now that we've established the starting point, let's deepen our understanding of why creating space can generate longing and strengthen the bonds in a relationship. At first glance, this idea might seem contradictory. After all, if we want to be close to someone, the natural instinct is to seek more proximity, right? But psychology shows us that distance, when done right, can be a powerful tool to solidify connections. The key lies in understanding what happens emotionally and mentally when you decide to create that space. When we step back, we offer the other person the necessary room to reflect, feel, and even appreciate aspects of us that may go unnoticed in daily interactions. This is especially important in a world where hyperconnectivity, constant messages, and social media tends to saturate relationships. In this context, absence becomes a rare and valuable antidote. This strategy isn't about manipulating or testing others, but about promoting a healthy balance between presence and absence. Often, we give so much of ourselves in a relationship that the other person loses the opportunity to miss us. It's in this empty space that people can genuinely reflect on the impact we have on their lives. Think about the last time someone important to you distanced themselves for some reason. You may have felt an emptiness, followed by a re-evaluation of the role that person played in your life. Perhaps you started noticing small details that previously seemed trivial. This is the transformative power of distance. It creates an opportunity to re-evaluate and appreciate. With this foundation in mind, let's explore the 7 key psychological reasons why people tend to miss you when you create space. These insights won't just make sense, but will also provide you with practical tools to apply to your relationships in a mature and conscious way. Now it's time to dive into the 7 psychological reasons that explain why creating space makes people miss you. Each of these points is grounded in psychology and can easily be observed in everyday situations. Let's analyze them one by one with practical examples and tips you can directly apply to your relationships. Reason 1: scarcity increases value. Scarcity is a universal principle that governs both economics and relationships. When something is rare or inaccessible, our brain tends to value it more. This happens because we instinctively associate rarity with importance. In relationships, the same mechanism applies. When we're always available, we may inadvertently lose the perceived value the other person places on us. On the other hand, by creating space, you allow your absence to be noticed. The lack of contact creates a gap that the other person inevitably tries to fill with memories and feelings related to you. Practical example. Imagine a friend you see every day. The relationship is pleasant but routine. Now think about how you feel when that friend has to travel for a few weeks. It's likely that you begin to realize how much you miss them precisely because they're not there. Practical tip: this isn't about disappearing or creating artificial scarcity, but about balancing the frequency of your interactions. Allow your occasional absence to create space for the other person to appreciate your presence. Reason 2. Space creates time for reflection. When we step back, we offer the other person an opportunity to reflect on us and the relationship. During the distance, the brain often revisits memories associated with you, and most of the time, these reflections are filled with positive emotions. This reflective pause can be crucial for strengthening bonds. Without the constant noise of daily interactions, the other person has time to reorganize their emotional priorities and recognize the relevance you hold in their life. Practical example. Think about a recent argument you had with someone close. After the distance, both of you had time to think about the incident, leading to a deeper understanding of each other's point of view. Practical tip: use periods of separation as strategic moments to reflect on your own emotions and expectations. This will allow for a more mature and conscious reconciliation. Reason 3. Redefining emotional priorities. When you're not around, people are forced to recalibrate their emotional priorities. They may realize the impact you had on their lives, from small gestures to the emotional stability you provided. Absence highlights what was previously taken for granted. This makes the other person reflect on the importance of maintaining the connection, even if it took them time to realize it while you were present. Practical example: a partner who always relies on you for emotional support may not realize the extent of that support until you're no longer so available. Practical tip: be consistent in showing your value in interactions, but don't be afraid to create space. Allow others to identify the positive impact you bring to their lives. Reason 4. Distance reduces conflicts and increases longing. When we distance ourselves, especially after moments of tension, absence helps to ease conflicts. This happens because stepping back creates an environment where intense emotions have time to cool down. During this period, longing can replace negative feelings like anger or frustration. This process is known as emotional selective memory, where the brain tends to remember the good times while minimizing the focus on the bad ones. Distance, therefore, offers an opportunity for reconnection without the burden of recent conflicts. Practical example: after an argument with a friend or partner, a brief separation can turn the desire to win the argument into a desire to restore the connection. Practical tip: use distance as a tool to reassess conflict situations, but make it clear that it's not a method of avoidance. A strategic pause can be powerful, but only if there's communication about the intent to resolve the issues. Reason 5. The effect of emotional independence. There's something incredibly attractive about people who are emotionally independent. When you create space, you demonstrate self-sufficiency and reinforce the message that you don't rely entirely on others for your happiness or emotional well-being. This independence, besides boosting your self-esteem, also sparks the interest of others who begin to value the strength and emotional security you convey. This doesn't mean isolating yourself, but showing that you can live and grow on your own. Practical example: consider someone who starts dedicating time to hobbies, work, or studies during a period of separation, that person becomes more interesting and inspiring to those around them. Practical tip: take advantage of the time apart to invest in your personal development. Confident and independent people attract healthier and more balanced relationships. Reason 6. The power of anticipation and mystery. The human brain loves anticipation and mystery. When we create space, we stimulate the other person's curiosity about what we're doing, thinking, or feeling. This element of mystery can be highly attractive because it activates areas of the brain associated with pleasure and reward. Additionally, prolonged absence breaks predictable routines and creates a sense of novelty when contact is re-established. This dynamic of expectation and renewal is especially powerful in relationships where monotony has become an issue. Practical example: think of a friend who, after some time apart, returns with exciting stories about what they did or learned. The novelty makes the reunion exciting. Practical tip: use mystery to your advantage, but naturally. Don't force situations to appear interesting. Simply let time and distance speak for themselves. Reason 7. Reconnection as an opportunity for growth. Finally, the longing generated by distance can serve as a catalyst for a new beginning. When people reconnect after a period of absence, there's an opportunity to correct past mistakes and strengthen the bond in a more mature way. This process turns distance into a tool for learning and growth, both individually and collectively. The key is that, upon returning, you're open to rebuilding based on what you learned during the separation. Practical example: a couple that takes time to reflect on their challenges can, upon reuniting, bring a new perspective and improve the relationship based on what both learned. Practical tip: treat the moment of reconnection as a fresh start. Be authentic and show the other person that the distance was productive for both of you. Conclusion: now that we've explored the 7 psychological reasons why people tend to miss you when you create space, let's reflect on the impact of this knowledge in your life. More than understanding a human behavior, the true power of this insight lies in how you can apply it ethically and consciously. First, remember that creating distance is not a tool for manipulation. It's a resource to balance your presence in people's lives, allowing them to reflect on your importance. Scarcity increases value, but only when it's natural and authentic. Using absence as a game strategy can end up destroying the same bonds you're trying to strengthen. Additionally, it's essential to value the time you spend with yourself during these periods. While others reflect on missing you, take the opportunity to invest in your emotional independence and personal growth. This not only boosts your self-esteem, but also makes you more interesting and inspiring to those around you. Another crucial point is learning to use distance as a moment to reassess relationships. Ask yourself, does this connection genuinely bring value to my life? Separation can help you distinguish genuine bonds from superficial or exhausting relationships. Sometimes, the space needed for someone else to miss you can also help you realize if they deserve that space. By applying these lessons, you'll be better prepared to handle relationships in a mature and healthy way. The balance between presence and absence is what makes human connections authentic, strong, and lasting. Whether you're the one creating the distance or the one being missed, this dynamic can be a catalyst for transforming your relationships. So, which of these 7 reasons resonated most with you? Share your thoughts in the comments and let us know your experiences. And remember, in silence we learn, in wisdom we grow.